Coming through the open window kitchen, all summer they drank iced coffee with milk in it. They sat in their flower print house dresses at the white enameled kitchen table, near the window sometimes. But rarely laughing, endlessly talking about childhood friends. Operations and abortions. Death and money.
group. I met her in 1968, and I immediately saw her radiance and loved her right from the beginning, and asked her to be in one of my first pieces with a group. In that piece, she had to be still for an hour. She had to just go from one still pose to another still pose because the audience walked around. It was kind of like sculpture. And then she was in all the early pieces, Vessel, Education of the Girl Child. She was in the Plateau series. She was in the Travelogue series, which I did with Ping Chong. And we were very, very dear friends. I know when she lost her father, we spent a lot of time together and on the phone. I loved her family. And as far as her dancing is concerned, she moved like lightning. She had a combination of groundedness and fluidity and lightness. And I always felt she was being danced by the universe. So I wanted to just sing a short lullaby for Blondell, just to give her ease wherever she is. And then I'd like to teach you a song that we can all sing together. This is called Lullaby Number 4. Meow, 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 meow.
The river is flowing. I'm Ralph. Well, then, as soon as I found out Blondell had passed, I started writing, just to mark the moment for myself and try and recall our work together. I'm still sort of writing, share a little where I'm at the moment. Blondell Cummings was one of the first angel folk in my life to offer me a dance opportunity, a showcase for my work, St. Mark's Dance Space, some space I forgot what space, where at this moment is not that important. I will never forget her caring gift. And at the time, we barely knew each other. She was so generous. She had left the house by the time I worked with Meredith in 80-81, but we did dance together a few times. She shepherded me through Meredith's filming of Ellis Island on Ellis Island, my first few days in New York. She held my hand. We also toured together with Parallels in the early 80s, Blondell, Ishmael, Houston Jones, Red Holland, Jawale Willage-Zoller, and myself. We were all amused and bemused by each other's work, watching, making fun of each other from on stage. A dysfunctional, temporary tribe we were, but we were close to the same source, I guess. Blondell's chicken soup was every working mother, grandmother I ever knew, the black ones, and their vibrant fiction. She was a beauty, a centuries-old beauty. She dressed me as a young soldier in The Art of War, her collaboration with composer Joseph Jarman and writer Jessica Hagedorn. She pushed me deceptively. I remember being exhausted during most of the work and not sure why. I also remember thinking that Blondell was unusually brilliant. The soft, sharp way she thought about things, would ask for something. Her own performing, dancing was like that, soft, hard, shaman-like, and very precise. So generous. The last thing we did together was a duet, a dance put together very quickly. Maybe it was an improvisation at 8 a.m. in the morning in front of an enormous bunch of delighted and rowdy fourth graders. A program at Lincoln Center. The children laughed and screamed the whole time, I remember. It felt like we were the center of a romper room battlefield, a different kind of art of war. Blondell was like Merce. She went to see everything, or as much as she could. She was so in love, committed to this thing that we are all trying to do, still trying to do. When she stopped dancing, performing, I suppose she was just practicing generosity, just showing up everything she had left to practice. I'm very sad and also pissed that she was not well and I didn't know it. I hate not having the chance to say hello and then goodbye to her. And I know this last part sounds a little selfish, but I say it, I think, out of basically just missing her and missing her. Thank you.
I'm Kim Chan, and so I'm sorry, I'm going to cry. But I can barely remember a time in my life when Blondell was not some kind of presence. I first knew of her as an artist with an incredibly brilliant and fierce reputation. I am not an artist, and I don't really remember where I met, but I think it was at an APAP showcase when I was still a curator at Washington Performing Arts in DC. A friend had introduced us, and I realized that every showcase I went to, and sometimes I'd go like 40 in 3 days. There was Blondell. And so she started telling me what to go see next and offering me a ride because she had a car. And on the way, she'd tell me about the artists that intrigued her, and her life on tour, and how much she loved her dog, and just wonderful, wonderful stories. And before I knew it, we were together at more than just performances. She was always a guest at the Chino-Latino dinner parties that Olga Garay and I would throw for Laura Spradlin and San San Juan during APAC. We became a part of the Women's Working Group, which is a group of amazing women who meet every year, and we're always there for each other. I know some of you are here today, and some of you are watching online. Blondell was there when I was a sleep-deprived new mom and couldn't figure out how to get from Olga's house back home. So she hailed me a cab, got the baby in the car seat in the cab, and made sure I made it home, all the way telling me stories about how even though I wanted to return the baby, that it was worth keeping her because she knew from all of the joy that her nephews brought her that I should not give up on this thing that was driving me crazy. And I feel like regardless of the circumstance, that Blondell was always there with you. In the moment, no matter how long it had been since she had seen you, she greeted you with warmth and interest. She remembered minute details of her interactions with you and of your life when she wasn't there. And so she always made you feel really welcome. And I feel like she was as adept at offering insights into dance and creativity as she was in guiding you through the ups and downs of life. When I moved back home to New York in 2006, I rarely made plans with Blondell, but I found myself spending more and more time with her because of our shared curiosity for going to as many performances as humanly possible. And so, just like at APAC, Blondell was always there wherever I went. And eventually, she wasn't just there seeking out performances with me, but she was with us for the Chinese New Year's lion dances. She was there helping my daughter do a 4th grade homework assignment. She helped me navigate my own diagnosis with breast cancer and recovery. She was on the Bessie's committee with me. And somehow in this process, she started calling me her mentor. And I don't really know why, because I can only think of the things that I've learned from her. And I feel like there was really nothing she could learn from me. And so I just wanted to share with you what I learned from her that I will never forget. And that is how to be simultaneously kind, generous, feisty, and argumentative. How to continually find joy and passion in this stressful, under-resourced, and creative and inspiring dance and performance community. How to never let cultural perceptions of race, ethnicity, gender, age, or aesthetics stop you from being who you are or doing what you want. And how to invest the same level of dedication I have for going to performances in very pragmatic things like going to the gym or swimming or running or any kind of exercise that makes you happy. And most of all, from Blondell, I learned how to love the family you were born into and how to create, nurture, and love extended families of artists, cultural workers, swimmers, women, baby boomers, and anyone who is important to you.
So I'd seen her image and read her reviews in the weekly papers and magazines. I knew that she was a black choreographer who was versed in the heritage of black dance, but that she was constructing her own path of modern and postmodern and whatever came after that dance, and even broadening the definition and possibilities of what black dance could be. I had to meet her. After moving here and beginning to find my own direction, I put together the Parallel Series, a dance-based project, to highlight some of my fellow travelers who were so proud of, but also moving beyond our black dance tradition. Several of us are here. I approached Blondell and she graciously, but a little warily, agreed to be a part of the series. After all, who was I? I got to perform on the same program as Blondell danced her iconic piece, Chicken Soup, and Chicken Soup was the hit of the series. A few years later, when 6 of us, DVD, Fred, Ralph, Jowey, Blondell and I, took Parallels to Europe, Fred and I got caught by Blondell in the dressing room with the iconic frying pan, doing our own less than reverential version of the piece. Sorry, Fred. At first, Blondell was majorly pissed off, but soon she was cracking up with both of us. I remembered when one reviewer wrote disparagingly about Chicken Soup that it was yet another stereotypical portrait of another black woman cleaning, cooking, and caring for the children in the white folks' house. Blondell was quick and strongly, loudly reminding this reviewer that black women cleaned and cooked and cared for their own children in their own homes. Thank you very much. She had used the music of Colin Walker, Brian Eno, Meredith, and the texts from Grace Haley and the Settlement Cookbook to evoke generations of women of whatever hue and whatever shade. You didn't want to get on Blondell's bad side. But last year, when speaking about Parallels in this theater here, I accidentally omitted her name. Blondell strongly and loudly corrected me from the audience. You did not want to get on her bad side. Many presenters, producers, and critics found that out the hard way. But as powerful as her voice was, she was always here to help the next generation of dancers find their way. The last time we saw one another was this past April at E-Moves at Hollow Stages. She was there to see a concert of some newcomers. And then back in 1982, she told me that I should check out this young brother from Minneapolis named Ralph something. I'll end with a poem that Talani Davis wrote for the Parallels program in '82. The last lines seem to be an apt description of Blondell Cummings. Working in new forms, stepping out of tradition is like taking a solo. The artist breathes in a heap of air, the chords, tones, and even the structure of his or her world, and then in one concentrated moment, moves and breathes out. The sound becomes a shape, a dance, a configuration of what we know that we have not seen or heard that way. The Black artist makes this happen out of the most rigid traditions in a society where our crafts are not often honored, but still with that sensibility that taught the world to solo, solitary, yet communal, disciplined, and free. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Mickey Horizon. Distinguished colleagues and family, friends, and Blondell's family. Appear weak when you are strong, and strong when you are weak. The supreme art of war is to subdue the enemy without fighting. If you know the enemy and know yourself, you need not fear the result of 100 battles. Supreme excellence consists of breaking the enemy's resistance without fighting. He will win who knows when to fight and when not to fight. He will win who knows how to handle both superior and inferior forces. He will win whose army is animated by the same spirit throughout all its ranks. I remember being part of a production called The Art of War, based on the writings of the Chinese warrior philosopher Sun Tzu, and those are quotes from his work that you just heard. It was presented here at DTW, Dance Theater Workshop in 1984, and written by the poet-playwright Jessica Hagedorn, with visuals by graphic artist John Woo, and the choreography was by Blondell Cummings. And my part, I was a performer in the production, and for some reason they cast me as Sun Tzu. You know, I know nothing about Chinese philosophy. I know nothing about war. I know nothing about martial arts. So it was a week before the opening, and I was struggling with something. And Blondell finally came in to choreograph my solo. And so anyway, it was Blondell's job to, so that I wouldn't look like a complete ass, okay? So Sun Tzu was perhaps a real, perhaps apocryphal philosopher warrior who lived in China around 5th century BC. He was all about the notion about fighting without fighting, about using the strategy of war without actually going to war. Very Zen, perhaps contributing to our contemporary notions of Buddhism. Blondell Cummings, I propose, was that kind of warrior. She was gentle and kind, yet also fiercely intelligent and fearless as a performer, a dancer, and a choreographer. I really didn't know her that well. I knew her from Meredith Monk's company, The House, and also from her legendary solo, Chicken Soup. Or I didn't know her as well as some of you here this afternoon, but I was always engaged by Blondell's passion and full, total commitment to whatever she was involved with at that moment. I only really began to know Blondell while we were both colleagues on the Bessie's selection committee. We had the most lovely, enjoyable discussions about which dance concerts we had just seen that week, and which performances stayed with us for months and throughout an entire season. We didn't always agree, but Blondell's ability to speak articulately about dance and choreography was a pure delight. I learned so much from her during our heated conversations about dance and performance. I mean, she would say, tell me about that performance you went out to Bushwick. Do you think I should go? And all throughout these conversations, there was a glow in Blondell's eyes, which animated her entire face and her physical body. I'll always be grateful and thankful for these small, though significant windows into Blondell's spirit and soul, to know what was really important and what mattered to her in her day-to-day living as an artist and human being. Farewell, Blondell, gentle warrior, articulate thinker, passionate dancer, artist. By her example in her life on this planet, she has inspired us to do the same. And I didn't really rehearse something, but somebody will say, why don't you sing? So I'll just hum a little part of a Filipino song. I think Blondell traveled to the Philippines on one of her jaunts to Asia. So. Ang nabilang gustan gugma, maya't pangmamatay. Kung halos mamatay, agud ako magkatulog, niya ko wala. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm King Chong, and I'd like to echo Ralph in thanking Bill and Elizabeth and Janet Long and the staff here at Live Arts for putting this together for our dear friend Blondell. I met Blondell Cummings when I was 24 years old. I had just graduated from film school, a shy, skinny kid in search of an autistic family without realizing it. The year was 1970, in a very different New York City, and in a very different era. An era that was more hospitable to us artists. An era when an artist could get a loft for $400. I met Blondell at Meredith Monk's workshop in just such a loft in Soho, which wasn't Soho then. She was completely open and friendly to the nervous new kid on the block. I didn't know it then, but that friendly and open Blondell would always be the same Blondell I would know down through the years. In that magic decade, we worked together as members of Meredith's company, The House, touring the United States and Europe. Blondell wasn't the kind of performer who lit up in rehearsals, but on stage, she was incandescent. You couldn't take your eyes off her. Anyone who saw her in her prime will remember that sinuous, coiled, panther-like grace and power, that electric presence. Blondell and I spent our youth together. Then we both left the house to realize our own dreams. I have always thought of Blondell as family.
When you have forged the bonds of youth together, you are always family, even if life takes you far away from each other. Over the years, we would cross paths on various occasions as our hair gradually grew grayer and gravity's pull became more insistent. Yet Blondell's sigh and smile remained ageless and unchanged. What do I remember best about my friend who has left us? I remember her kindness. I remember how she helped two elderly sisters who lived across the hall from her, who had no one to turn to. I remember the warmth and humanity, her immediacy and directness, her true love of her artistic community, and yes, that lovely smile that would spread across Blondell's face as her eyes closed, as if to savor the pleasure of the lived moment. I will always think of that as the essence of my friend. You're a sweet heart, Blondell, and in a world with so little heart, that's saying a lot. See you on the other side. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. I'm Dee Miller. I'm probably not alone in learning so many new things about Blondell, as well as being reminded of what we didn't know. And I just was reminded by Signa about how much she loved to drive. And I remember she had a Volvo, which I thought was just so snazzy. And that there was something about her having a car and living on the Upper East Side that I thought was a signifier of something that I could become. I don't know about the Upper East Side. But a place where, as an artist, that who she was and where she was grounded and where she stood was real, and that she knew who she was. I knew of her before I met her because I was always mistaken for Blondell. People would come up and talk about like some deep conversation or performance that they'd gone to together, and I'd kind of take it in, and then I kind of like. And I think, you know, and now I'm wondering about at that time feeling a little bit pissed off that there was that assumption that there was only one black woman downtown choreographer. And how at the time, I don't know why it seemed easier to feel our difference than our sisterhood. But I think that we came to feel that. I did, I know. When it came time for Parallels in Black, the Josephine Baker tour, we used to call it. There was a sense that I felt she watched our back. Do you remember how she just kind of demanded our pay raise and like what the per diem was going to be? Right from the start. It was a little scary. And then I saw her dance. It was probably chicken soup, I don't know. And her grip on that frying pan. And it was a tight, tight fist. It was a tight, tight fist. She did not let go. And thinking that it was a tight, tight heart, belly, legs, butt, bottom, feet that I learned from. So, I learned how to shape time from Blondell. She had a way of telling you when, how to look and be seen. She saw you. She felt you, and she gave you back. I saw one of my students, former students in the lobby today, Logan. And it made me realize that there are hundreds of former students that we all have who are in the city, flocking around, building a community without even using that word. And I just want to remind them to pay attention to who you stand next to in class, who you see again and again at a concert, on the street, in the gym, at Starbucks, when you're both working there. That these are the people who will take you forward. These are the people who will help you know yourself. And that when you look back, although they have not left, they move with you. They are inside of you, they are around you. And you will do the same for the next and the next. Thank you.
Go tell everyone. Go tell your Aunt Rose. Go tell your Aunt Rose. Oh, baby. He's dead. The one that she's been saving, the one that she's been saving, the one that she's been saving too late. Her feather bed, the gander is a weeping, little gander is a weeping. The gander is a weeping because his wife is dead. You better go tell your Aunt Rhodey. Go tell your Aunt Rhodey. Go tell your Aunt Rhodey, her old gray goose. He is dead. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Blondell's younger, taller, and bigger sister. Hilda and I will do this together because Blondell expects us to. Blondell lived with the strong belief that Hilda and I had one brain between the two. The other brain that Hilda or I didn't get, she did. I thought she was wrong. Crazy talk. Till now. Reading and hearing the praises of how brilliant she and her work was, maybe there is a shred of truth in that she did. I know Blondell made it into heaven, and she is doing there what she did in life, embarrassing mom and dad by the uncensored things she would say and do. We know she's telling God how to run his kingdom. Pray for God. And we are positive that she is organizing angels to perform a dance alongside her. Rule on, dance on, big little sister, bye-bye. I will now have the other half of my voice.
My name is Hilda Cummings Davis. I'm Blondell's middle sister. Gaynell Cummings is the other sister. Jamal Davis is my son. Jamal, stand up, please. Brian Lewis Cummings is Gaynell's son. Stand up, Brian. Jamal and Brian used to call Blondell Auntie Baba. They would always introduce their friends to their crazy, eccentric Auntie Baba. Cersei, Blondell's lovable godchild, is not here as of yet, but she will be here at any moment, probably. And Caitlin, please stand up. Caitlin is Jamal's fiance, our future brother-in-law. I know Blondell is smiling, laughing, giggling, because y'all did a wonderful, wonderful celebration of love to her. Thank you all so much. Hopefully, this is Blondell's immediate family, the 6 of us. All of us would like to thank each and every one of y'all for coming out to celebrate with us. Blondell was our soul and savior. We will truly, truly miss her. However, all the people who spoke about Blondell, y'all was fantastic. The pictures was unbelievable. And I have to thank Cersei and Mickey because they did a wonderful job with the photographs from Blondell's childhood. I want to also thank Janet Wong because she was so supportive with us during this time. Also Meredith Monk, being a very good friend and an optimistic person. Elizabeth Streb for being super, super supportive. Elizabeth, you and your staff did a terrific job. It brought tears and joy to our faces. Thank y'all so much. And also, Bill T. Jones, thank you for allowing us to use your space. Everyone knows we also have really small gifts for Janet, Meredith, Elizabeth, and Bill. We will give it to you in the evening. Everybody knows how much Blondell loves food. And the Cummings and David's family loves to drink. So, we want everybody to go outside, get some appetizers, get some non-alcoholic drinks and alcoholic drinks, eat, drink, and once again, enjoy Blondell's love to all of you.
My best friend Angela died when she was only 43. When I returned from the funeral, I unpacked and then went to get something to drink. Inside my refrigerator, everything was rotting. A half-finished carton of sour skim milk, a head of wilted lettuce, a moldy container of Dannon yogurt, 2 moldy dried-up lemons, 1 package of tightly wrapped Danish blue cheese unopened, 1 2-week-old boiled egg, a bottle of flat seltzer water, and a split of Mumm champagne.